Marlow Artis, and for this special episode, we are celebrating North Carolina's 2021 National Blue Ribbon Schools. This year, there are 4 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 2 early colleges, and 1 K-12 school being recognized. Joining us for this conversation are the 8 outstanding school leaders of these exemplary learning institutions. Thank you all so much for being here. Really excited to have all of you here. I know as the principals and leaders of these great schools, I know you're very busy, so we're really glad to have this time together to share all of your wonderful school success. So we're going to start with introduction. So if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and your career, and tell us just brief information about your school, and we'll start with Principal Brown.
Good evening, I'm Christie Brown and the current principal of Pender Early College High School located in Burgaw in Pender County. And my career has taken me from a high school math teacher on to assistant principal and now the principal of this school. This is a phenomenal school. Pender Early was established in 2006 and throughout the years has had some great leaders to establish it as an exemplary high school. They have worked so hard for this honor. And as I look back and I look at their scores and just their overall status of maintaining an A for a number of years, it's just a great collaborative environment and a great place to work.
Awesome.
Good afternoon. My name is Amanda Burton. I am the principal at Elkin Middle School in Elkin, North Carolina. For those of you who don't know, Elkin is located in Surry County. Elkin Middle School has 2 grade levels. We have 7th and 8th grade in our building. We are unique in some way because we actually share a campus with Elkin High School. So that affords us the opportunity for a lot of collaboration with our high school. And because we're on the same campus, we share a lot of spaces and we share teachers. Previously, before becoming an administrator at Elkin Middle School, I taught at Elkin Middle School for 11 years. So being the administrator here at the middle school, things have really come full circle for me to be back home. I left Elkin for 1 year to be an administrator in another district. So it is a wonderful school district with great students, great parents, wonderful community who supports us, and an excellent staff.
Awesome.
Good evening. My name is Rodriguez Teal. I am the former principal of Pearsontown Elementary School in Durham, North Carolina. The proud former principal of the school. I was there for 11 years as the principal, but my career has spanned 30 years in Durham Public Schools, where I have also been a middle school principal and a high school principal, all within the same district. Currently, I'm the principal in Atlanta, Georgia, at a school called Winbrook Traditional Theme School, which is a magnet school here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And I started here on August the 2nd. So I am extremely proud to still continue to represent the work that was done at Pearsontown Elementary School. To most, it was a surprise that we became a National Blue Ribbon School, but this is something that's been in the works for a while. We set our goals extremely high, and it's taken us a few years to try to get all the stars aligned together for us to reach that pinnacle. But I am so proud of the work that was done at Pearsontown to achieve this goal. We service kids from pre-K to 5th grade, as well as several students who are in our exceptional children's program. We have an extremely strong home community school bond that drives a lot of the things that we do. Our parent support, along with the teacher tenacity to make sure that they continue to provide students the ultimate environment to achieve their high expectations and meet their academic goals, has always been a strong suit for Pearsontown. And I'm just glad that our work was recognized for doing such a wonderful job for our students and our community.
That's great. We appreciate you joining us from Georgia.
Good evening. I am Kellie Dellinger, and I am honored to be the principal at Union Elementary. Union Elementary has actually, or Union School has actually been around for 100 years. It was first a high school, then it transitioned to a junior high and an elementary school, and we are currently just an elementary school now. I actually attended Union as a child, so that's why I'm very honored to be here and to serve. And Union definitely deserves this recognition. We are in Lincoln County, and I have to say that we have had many principals and staff members, teachers that make Union what it is. Our community is a small family community, and I just have to say our past and present staff is what makes Union the best.
Awesome. Thank you for being here to represent them.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Susan Jackson. I'm the current principal of Brush Creek Elementary in Western North Carolina and the Madison County District. This is the second time that Brush Creek Elementary is receiving the National Blue Ribbon Award. So we are so honored to have such an amazing recognition. Our teachers, we have approximately 360 students, K-5, and we have a lot of veteran staff that really buy into our really strong intervention model, and we really target student needs. We have a strong community base that really supports our goals. A lot of parent feedback that really helps structure what our kids need within our schools. The parents, the students, everyone works together for the goals of our students. So I'm really honored to be here and to represent Brush Creek Elementary. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
And I'm Joallen Lowder, principal of Blue Ridge Elementary School in Ashe County, North Carolina, with the tagline, the coolest, we are in the coolest corner of North Carolina because we are Virginia and Tennessee border us. So we actually have some students who live just over the line who have been grandfathered into our school system. Blue Ridge Elementary School is a Leader in Me Lighthouse School, and we are very proud of what we have done to close gaps for our children. Strong community and family that just wrap themselves around us and do anything that we need to make things happen for our children. I have an amazing staff. This is my third year, and this is 30 years for me. So full circle, I love it. And I'm so thankful to be here to represent Blue Ridge Elementary School.
Glad to have you.
Hey, good evening. My name is Monty Strickland. I'm the principal at Sampson Early College High School in Clinton, North Carolina, part of the Sampson County School District. Like Pender High School, we were established 2005. I think they were 2006, and we really have strong teachers. And I really credit the former leadership at the school for laying that foundation. I'm in my third year at the school. So basically my first year was COVID's first year. So we've been battling COVID, and we're extremely proud to be a blue ribbon school. We're one of two Sampson County schools within the last 5 years to be named a blue ribbon school. So we're elated. All the credit goes to our staff. Our students are phenomenal. We have about 250 students, and they all work extremely hard during these frustrating times, but our staff is really good at making the best of it, and just really proud and humbled to be a part of this elite group. So 25 years in education for me. I've been a high school principal at two traditional high schools, and now I'm at the early college, and it's different, but it's different in a good way. So we're proud.
Awesome. Glad to have you here.
Hello, my name is Joanne Woodard. I'm the founder and executive director of the Sallie B. Howard School of Arts and Education in Wilson, North Carolina. And I too, like the rest of you, am extremely happy, proud, privileged to be named and receive this recognition for our students. We serve kindergarten through 11th grade. We just started high school during the COVID period. So, and we serve over 1,000 students in that range. I think the biggest honor is that we have been recognized for closing the achievement gap. And that has been a journey. And that's the thing that we are most, moved by. We started this school in 1997. We were one of the first charters in the state of North Carolina to receive the first 32 charters in 1997. And before then, we had operated a summer program serving over 300 children, free, all of that. And it was quite a success. And the parents really trusted us with their children. So when the charter law was passed in North Carolina, one of the lobbyists knew who we were because of our work in the summer program and really encouraged us to apply. And so we did apply and we did get the contract to start this school. And most of the students who we had served over the 8 years in the summer program and their families knew us, trusted us, and took a chance on taking their students out of a traditional school and putting them in the charter school. And you know, as well as I do, the kind of welcome charter schools received from the traditional public school systems. It wasn't a happy marriage at first. So those parents really took a chance on us, and we have grown from 284 when we started to over 1,000 each year. I am a psychologist. That's all the training I've had academically from undergraduate through PhD. So shifting into this was not in my plans. Let me just say that. And my whole journey was influenced by Sallie B. Howard. And that's why the school is named in her honor, because if it wasn't for her, I would not be doing this and there would be no school. And the thing that I'm most proud about this, I know I overtalk, just give me a moment. You can cut that part out, okay? The thing I'm most proud of is that we are a Title I school, always have been. And we serve the most vulnerable students in our community. And yet, we are a National Blue Ribbon school. Who would have ever thought that? And that is for the closing the achievement gap. So I could not be more proud. This is the only school I've ever worked in. I still don't have these education degrees. I'm still a psychologist. But we have a wonderful team, a brilliant team of people for whom working with these students is a calling, for whom working at Sallie B. Howard is ministry, because there's nothing we won't do for our schools. And when I get a chance to talk about the secret sauce, that the bridge that got us over, I'll tell you all about it. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So glad to have you here. I mean, so much greatness across the state, and, it's just wonderful to have each of you here. So we're so excited. So, you all received this award in the middle of a pandemic. How have you all been able to continue to have high, rigorous standards on your campuses in the middle of a pandemic? Because you all are continuing to do great things despite the challenges.
Well, I can say, if you don't mind me going, I can say that we never lowered our expectations. It was a challenge, it was new and all of that, but we continued to cover the schedule of the core subjects, and believe it or not, our fine arts programs continued on Zoom, in their garages, in their kitchens, in their bathrooms, and you can find and we produced, and you can find all of those videos of the concerts, the recitals, the chorus concerts, the theater. Oh my goodness. If you want to see a most powerful production in theater ever known to man, you want to see this on YouTube, a film called Isolation. And just by the name itself, it tells you this was somebody's expression of what they were going through during COVID. Isolation. And the best thing is, it was written by two students, and it was performed by 2 students. So we did not lower our expectations, and we just found a way to keep the kids engaged in academics for the better part of the day. I mean, they had 5 classes on live Zoom, not in the Google Classroom, 5 live classes every single day, plus their specials, we call them specials, electives. And we didn't even think that we couldn't do it. It was hard. Oh my goodness, it was hard. But we did it because we owed that to them to continue as best we knew how to continue to give them their instruction.
That's awesome.
We were fortunate enough at Pender Early to already be a one-to-one school. So all of our students already had devices prior to the pandemic. So we just kind of kept going. And as she stated, we're never lowering expectations, even for their college courses, because of course we're partnered with Cape Fear Community College. And we just kept pressing and kept going. Students that did not have internet, because we service students throughout our entire county, which is very rural. And so I went and delivered. I took them paper copies if they did not have internet at their house. And our district they made a lot of things happen in terms of meeting their needs. Each of the schools, they could go to the actual parking lot and utilize internet in the parking lot just to try to meet their needs, which was a lot easier for our parents to make happen rather than them having to drive to our school. But even when we started school in August, we started the first week in August and didn't even know how school was going to start. But we began, and our school board allowed us to have students face-to-face from the start. And our students continued with Cape Fear classes, and a lot of their college courses were moved to online, chemistry online, calculus online, labs online. So it was definitely a struggle, but you know what? We found a way and made sure they had the supplies. Our team is great. Our teachers support them, whether it's their class that they're in, that they're teaching them. Like she said, all the videos that were made by our staff explaining different lessons, because they could only be in the building 2 days a week. Each student that came face-to-face was 2 days a week. So the other days, we had the other group of students for 2 days, and then one day was our cleaning day. And we utilized that for a lot of face-to-face Google Meets and sessions just to try to support them in whatever their endeavors were. But it really made everyone, our families, our students, and our staff really took it to the next level to support.
I think for me at Pearsontown, much like most of the other schools here, I think that it's in our DNA just to have high expectations for our students and how we operate. We just had to learn to pivot in this new space. And if I could say one thing that was the cornerstone for us, it had to be communication, because we had to combine an empathy for how everyone was feeling from a social emotional standpoint going through this phase, as well as how we were going to continue to trigger the academic prowess of our kids and keep them together. And I think one of the things that we began to create is like this space where not only academics could be provided, but home support could be provided for parents who didn't understand how to access technology, or students who were having anxiety and not being able to really engage with the virtual instruction online. So we actually had to create a whole new school, basically from the ground up. And my goal as the principal was to try to mimic and do everything in the virtual space that we did in the face-to-face space. Was it easy? No, it wasn't. Did it take some convincing and a little politicking, a little urging, a little sympathetic speaking to the teachers about we can do this and encouragement? Yes, it took all that. But I think that at the bare bones of what we were doing, being able to reach out to my families every week, give them a word of encouragement and let them know we were all in this together and that we were going to survive it, kept us tight as a unit. And that homeschool bond that I spoke about earlier continued to not to fray away. It remained strong, it remained resilient, and everything we needed our parents to do, they were able to come through, from delivering supplies to them, those students that needed it, and those parents being available, to them coming to the school and picking things up, even to the point where they came out to the school, the parent community came out to the school and provided bag lunches for the teachers, things like that. So we were all in it together. We were all feeling it together, and it made it feel like we weren't alone. Because the scary thing about this whole being in this space is it was unknown. No one had ever opened up a school during a pandemic before. No one has written a playbook on it. So we all had to really create our own playbooks. And if you listen to most of the schools, I'm pretty sure they did different things that really motivated their students. But I can tell you, those experiences are some that I wouldn't trade for the world, because it really made us grow and bond together. And when I looked at my teachers differently, because they became different persons when it came to showing empathy and sympathy towards people and students and families that were going through the same situation they were going through, but going through it differently. So it allowed us to just be feeling blessed that we were just a part of one big, huge community.
I agree 100%. I think that our key strategy throughout the pandemic, and it has continued, well, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, but has continued this school year, is communication, 100%. And I said it several times last year to many stakeholders. Students learn best when adults communicate well. And so that was the driving force, I think, behind everything that we did last year, from handing out devices to checking attendance every day. Every morning, I went to every single classroom to put my eyeballs on my kids. And if they weren't there, then I called. If I didn't call, a counselor called, social worker called. And if the kid was just at home, we went and got them and brought them to school. And we did that. We did that for several weeks. And that paid off huge in the end, just so that, parents knew that we were coming to get their kid. They couldn't just lay out, skip school. And they knew that we were all on the same team. But other than that too, at the start of the pandemic, we wanted to make sure that our parents knew what was going to be going on in our classrooms every day. Right, we try to communicate that every week, but we created a weekly learning plan, and that weekly learning plan was divided up by grade level. It had learning targets listed, each subject, tests, quizzes were highlighted, daily assignments, that sort of thing. It was pushed out every Sunday night. It's published on our website. It really became a great talking piece. Instead of what did you do in school today, it could be more like, tell me about chapter 2 that you read in English today. Parents could call assignments by specific names. So that's another tool that we have used that kind of grew out of remote learning, that has just been a wonderful way for us to communicate just the daily goings on of the classroom at Elkin Middle School.
That's great. Principal Dellinger, I know at your school you're really focused on developing student leaders. Can you talk about the OWLs with leadership skills? I think that's a really unique thing that you all do with your 4th graders and your 5th graders.
Yes, definitely. So our school counselor, Miss Thomas, came to us about 3 years ago, and she wanted to create this program for our students. And it's an amazing experience during this time of year. So the fourth and fifth graders, they are able to go home, talk to their parents about it. They have to complete applications. The teachers have to recommend them, and then they have a voting experience, and then they have to create their own videos to share with the classes, and the whole school gets to watch them. And then our third, fourth, and fifth get to vote on our fourth and fifth grade representatives. And it's amazing the things they have done for our school. They are out spreading mulch for our playgrounds. They do our, we call it Cansgiving food drive here coming up at Thanksgiving. And they do multiple things for our community and our school to build leadership skills and to drive, I guess, just a change here at Union. The past few years we've had positive themes. So last year we were spreading sunshine, and this year we are being the light. Within the pandemic and everything, we just felt like that was right, and our school voted on that and wanted that as our theme. So they continue to be the light for our students, and they are role models for our students. So if they know their behaviors have to stay up, their PBIS expectations are even more so than others. So if we start seeing a child or a student fall behind that is been chosen as a student leader, then they know that they would possibly be off of the team. So I think it's a great opportunity for our fourth and fifth grade students, and this year they actually have started a newsletter crew. So they have taken that from, say, myself, that I was always creating the newsletter every month that goes out to our families. So they're creating a newsletter now. So they're going around, they're being journalists, they are interviewing, sort of like we're doing right now, because they interviewed me first thing. And it's amazing what it is bringing out in them. And they are truly being the light and preparing them for middle school and high school.
That's wonderful. And Principal Lowder, I know at your school, you all have been a Leader in Me school for almost 10 years. Can you talk about the benefits that you've seen with that framework at your school, and how the Leader in Me framework really contributed to Blue Ridge being a blue ribbon school?
In 2013, Blue Ridge started the Leader in Me process. Stephen Covey's 7 habits then, and now it's 8. Our theme this year is find your voice and inspire others to find theirs. And our children are truly finding their voice. Our teachers have found their voice. So we have a tremendous amount of leadership opportunities for teachers and students. And that's so very important. I think Principal Dellinger, hit it, that they become leaders, they want to be leaders, and they're going to push others to become leaders. And that is huge, especially with elementary children. We started out with our leadership team of students only being 6th grade. And we realized very quickly that we have some first graders who are just as loud and proud. And so this year we have a 1st grade through 6th grade student lighthouse team. They are the children who will take you on a tour when you come to visit. They can tell you about their classroom wildly important goals that they're working on. They can show you their data boards and tell you where they are and students are in their classroom. So taking that to the next level when they leave here is tremendous.
That is really great. And speaking of next level, Principal Jackson, I know your school is really focused on excellence, having been recognized as a Blue Ribbon School before in 2009. Can you talk about the intentionality of making sure that teachers have access to high quality professional development so that you can continue to be excellent, continue to grow as a school community?
Absolutely. So our teachers they really buy into all of the programs that we have and the things that we want our students to know and be able to do. we have a very strong intervention model. And within that intervention model, we have at Brush Creek a K1 interventionist, a 2-3 interventionist, and a 4-5 interventionist. These are veteran teachers with 25 plus years experience in the classroom. They have had Wilson training, foundations training, all they have had Heggerty's training. Math investigations is also our math program that we use. And so it's almost like a train the trainer, because we have trainers within our building. So when we get brand new, baby teachers is what we call them, but these amazing young, fresh out of college, amazing teachers, we have interventionists in the buildings that run those meetings and trainings weekly for our staff. So we're able to, if a teacher comes in and they're struggling with phonics and we're trying to cover that in K1, we have our K1 interventionists that will set and have, a 45-minute PD. They will go in and actually model lessons for our teachers. Our teachers come back and, they team teach together. And so that strong bond that our interventionists have with our new teachers tends to, make that happen. And there's always someone there. We have our county-wide interventionist who meets with each school's interventionist. And so they're able to roll out that PD throughout the year for our school. So it's an excellent model.
That is wonderful. And with our early colleges, I know that sometimes there's the misconception that your schools are successful because there's an application process. And I know for both of your schools, having dug into your applications, looking at the data, and Mr. Strickland visiting your school in person several times, that the reason why your schools are successful is because of the supports that you all provide for students. And really, you're relentless in making sure that students are successful. Talk about how you all ensure that students are successful at both of your early colleges.
For
Yeah,
us, sorry. You can go ahead, Mr. Strickland.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you asked the question, because just the last 2 weeks we've been out in the middle schools recruiting, so to speak, for talking to 8th grade students about expectations and their interest level in coming to the early college. And there is a perception out there that we only get straight A students, and that is further from the truth. What we do want to make sure we get are students who are interested in learning and pushing themselves. And we have a staff that will help them. And some of the things we have in place are, freshmen, we only schedule or try to schedule 1 or 2 college classes per year. And their schedule, we have a intervention time, so to speak, where they are with a facilitator in a computer lab for their freshman and sophomore years. Obviously, we track data, and we track and make sure their grades are where they're supposed to be. And if not, we have interventions in place that can help with that as well. So it's been a little more tricky with the pandemic. We are the largest county in the state of North Carolina. So with 5 feeder schools, sometimes it's hard to get the communication that we would like to out there. But when we get them in the building, we have interventions in place, and our staff are phenomenal. We have what we call Eagle Time to support our juniors for ACT prep. And then our seniors and super seniors, of course, have seminar classes as well. So we don't throw them to the wolves, so to speak. We get them in there, we encourage them, and every now and then, the early college is not for students. And if they get in there and we decide that, then we help them back on the track to a traditional high school. But those things in place that we have are really, really, really helpful. And the resources that we have, and the collaboration that we have with the community college as well. They offer tutorial services, and it's just a really good place to be.
And I'll say for Pender Early, we focus a lot on the well-rounded students, but part of our foundation is that we accept students from throughout our county, but we also look at first-generation college students. So we definitely are not just accepting students just strictly based on grades, but we always want to look at a well-rounded student. Some of our students coming in, they're not working on straight associates of arts or associates of science. Some of them are going into some of our other programs, such as welding, mechatronics, cosmetology. Anything that Cape Fear Community College offers is available to them. So we look at those things whenever we are going through the process. And our recruitment will be the first week in November, but we go to every school face-to-face, talk to the students, and we do 2 parent nights, one at our school and one because we have like some schools that are a good little distance from us. So we do one for those schools as well. But just to try to get all of the students interested and let them know about the opportunities that we provide. But one of the things that our staff will tell you is very crucial for our student success is what we call our wolf den, because we're the sea wolves. And we meet once a month to discuss any student that has below a 70. We don't wait until they're past a little danger zone. That's kind of our threshold. If they have below a 70 in the class, then we utilize our wolf lunch. Our students have a 40-minute lunch. And so that's plenty of time. And we utilize that time for them to get tutorials, for them to get with their teacher, get some individualized support. And that goes on continuously. We also use it for the different clubs or activities or things that our students like to do. But if we see a student that's in need, they know that that is their time. They go to those teachers, and the teachers are always willing, just always so supportive of them. But we really focus on taking students that are having students in our school that want to be there, and they just do a great job. But we have a first-year seminar class. Every student that comes to our school goes through the first-year seminar, and we utilize that to prepare them for the high expectations that our school and Cape Fear Community College courses will require of them. So we just have some different things in place that we know will support them.
That is really great. Now, one of the purposes of the Blue Ribbon Award is to elevate practitioner knowledge. You all are the practitioners. What would you like to share with local, state, and national policymakers in terms of what you need in order to sustain your success at your schools and also to take your school to the next level?
I have to say funding for staff. I feel like people make more of an impact than any program ever could. Individualized instruction is going to come from a teacher, an interventionist, a person, a tutor, a TA, anyone that can individualize instruction for a student I feel like it's going to make the biggest impact. So to me, I want people more so than programs. Research-based programs are phenomenal and great, but we need the people to teach it to the kids and to differentiate for them, to meet them where they are and to see them grow.
I think that I totally agree with what she just stated, but I also think that in my 30 years, I've just always wished that there was more notoriety given to educators because everybody is really stressed out now for a lot of different reasons. I have actually done some work on the collegiate level, and there aren't a lot of students going into teacher ed programs. So there is a huge gap within the educational community of retirees getting ready to retire, and not enough students graduating from teacher ed programs to fill those gaps. And so I am very hopeful that there will be this urgency to recruit, retain, and promote the careers in the education field so that we can keep the good work moving forward. And I think that we as principals, especially those of us, and I would say in general, across the board, all principals do this, but I know especially for those on this panel, we promote our staffs as much as we possibly can. We want them to feel valued because we know when they feel valued, they're going to bring their best to the table. But I don't know if that is being done across the state in many of the different sections of the school communities. So money is always a need, and definitely staff is always a need too. But I think there needs to be something done to really look at what's getting ready to happen over the next few years, because we are running shy of having individuals come in and replace those folks. And we're having to spend more money on training second career individuals to come in and replace those who don't have the background to go into a classroom and teach. So I think that there's something that should be done or said about that.
I just want to say that we invest a whole lot in our paraprofessionals. We found over the years that we could recruit from California, Massachusetts, South Carolina, wherever, for new teachers just coming out of college. And we would go for Teach for America as well. Those very high level and bright folks. What we found over the years is that they did not stay. They did not stay. They never really intended to stay, I would say. They came to get some experience and move on. But, and I understand it, you know, if I'm from California and I'm here in North Carolina, I miss my family. And I'm just coming out of college and my friends and family. So it was nothing wrong with that pattern, but it was a pattern. And so we were continuously getting new people to train and all of that. One fine day, it occurred to us, we can grow our own. The folks who are already rooted in this community and in North Carolina, but didn't have the degrees, but were strong, great classroom managers, smart, bright. We look for that in an instructional assistant. I know we typically call them teacher assistants, but we call them instructional assistants. Why? Because we need you to teach. We need you to co-teach with your lead teacher. We need you to train under her so that you can successfully conduct small group instruction. Small group instruction is where it's at for the population of students we serve as a Title I school. So we very quickly saw the potential in our paraprofessionals that with the degree and the training, well, we gave them the training and they shine, but with the degree, they'll be a fantastic lead teacher. So for a few years already, we have invested in our paraprofessionals, get them trained, help them with tuition, help them get that degree, you know, and come on and still working. And then, you know, and come back and get, you know, raise your standard of living for your family with that degree, your income and all of that. That has been a great investment. I know we're hearing schools talk about not, you know, teacher shortages and all of that. And I know that's true. I hear it a lot. Most of our teachers and paraprofessionals, we don't have a high attrition rate. They've been there 10, 15 years. So that pattern or that investment has really worked for us. I can name on two hands the number of teacher assistants you call or instructional assistants that are currently matriculating in online classes to get their degree. And, you know, that has worked for us. Now, what the state could do to facilitate that is to have some funding, you know, for those who are qualified, interested, or recommended, and help them out. This is not easy to get a degree while you're raising a family at the same time. So that's my suggestion.
Great suggestion. So when we think about our schools that are represented this year, with the exception of Pearsontown Elementary, our National Blue Ribbon schools this year are in rural communities. So what does this recognition say about the potential of our rural communities and smaller communities?
For Pender County, we're the first school in our district to ever receive this award. So we are beyond proud and excited to be from a rural community and say we're the first ones to earn this accomplishment. And I've said to my staff and to my students and every parent and community member I've talked to that it goes without saying that there should definitely be more, but that we can do it. All we have to do is set that bar for our students and support them. They will do it. It doesn't matter where they're from. Like I said, we had barriers with internet as well. We have a lot of students, you can't even purchase the internet. It's just not available. We offered hotspots to some and the hotspots wouldn't work. So it's just that drive and that desire to be successful that you need. And I feel like at our school and in our district as a whole, we all have that drive and that desire. And so I just know some more great things are coming for all of us in Pender County.
I have to say, like Ms. Burton mentioned earlier, is the communication. Like I mentioned, small community feel with, you know everybody. You see them out, you speak to them. They know we care about them, we care about their kids, we care about their success, and we want to work together. I think that's the biggest thing, is just that they know that we care about them, the whole family, the whole child, and just constant communication.
I agree. And we are from Clinton and Sampson County, and I don't know if there's any more rural in the state of North Carolina than we are, but I think it starts for us with, like you said earlier, the adult, the trusting adult, whether it's a teacher or someone in that building. Nothing can replace people. And once those relationships are formed, those kids tend to work harder. And specifically at early college, we provide an environment that, and I've been in 2 traditional high schools, that traditional high schools just cannot provide, because we have kids who are interested in learning, all of our kids, and some of the distractions that they would face at traditional schools are just not there. So it starts with the adult, and those relationships are extremely, extremely important. And then when we get to be blue ribbon, we like to brag about it. So it's a big deal for us, and our kids are extremely, extremely proud. Just last year, our valedictorian, she's at Duke now. So we have very capable kids, and our adults know that, and they push that.
I just think good pedagogy is good pedagogy, regardless of whether it's in a city school, urban school, or rural school. If you have the committed staff willing to do what's best for children and really keep that at the forefront, I think that National Blue Ribbon Awards could go anywhere. I just really feel that teaching has so much more to do with the emotion that goes into teaching than the science of teaching, because you have to, the kids have to see that in you, that you really care about them, and then they will be willing to listen and follow you wherever you go. And so much emphasis sometimes is always placed on the science of it. But as I listen to the panel today, I hear that they are emotionally attached to the things that they're doing in their building, which is providing that platform for their students to flourish. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter whether it's a city school or a rural school. If that kind of sentiment exists in those halls, then those children will learn and achieve, and we will all be National Blue Ribbon Award schools.
Wonderful. What a wonderful way for us to conclude our program with such sage words. You all are outstanding leaders. Your schools certainly have wonderful individuals inside those institutions working hard each and every day, but leadership truly matters. And they have your great leadership to serve as great examples. And so thank you all so much for sharing your school stories with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We also,
Thank you.
so glad to have all of you, really appreciative. We'd like to also thank our audience so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you soon.